Allah here draws the attention of the Muslims to the still lingering moral shortcomings in their character. He wants them to build an integrated, purified society. He speaks about the invisible assistance he sent down to his obedient servants to enable them to accomplish their noble objectives. He wants the Muslims to rid themselves of any trait of haughtiness or arrogance that might sneak in. He wants them to turn to him for help, obey him and his messenger, PBUH. After that he delineated the noble objectives for which the messenger, PBUH, launched that bloody battle, and directed them to the merits and qualities that brought about the great victory. The polytheists, hypocrites, the Jews and prisoners of war were also mentioned, being admonished to surrender to the truth and adhere to it only. The question of the spoils of war was resolved, and the principles and basics relevant to this issue were clearly defined. The laws and rules pertinent to war and peace were legalized and codified, especially at this advanced stage of the Islamic action. Allah wanted the Muslims to follow war ethics dissimilar to those of pre-Islamic practices. The Muslims are deemed to outdo the others in ethics, values and fine ideals. He wants to impress on the world that Islam is not merely a theoretical code of life, it is rather mind cultivation-orientated practical principles. In this context, he established inter- and intrastate relations. The fast of Ramadan was established as an obligatory observance in the year 2 appended by the duty imposed upon Muslims of paying zakat, alms tax, poor due, in order to alleviate the burden of the needy emigrants. A wonderful and striking coincidence was the establishment of Shawwal Eid, the festival of the fast breaking, directly after the manifest victory of Badr. It was actually the finest spectacle ever witnessed of Muslims leaving their houses, praying, acclaiming Allah's name and entertaining His praise at the top of their voices in recognition of His favor and grace, and last but not least, the support He rendered them and through which the forces of the truth overpowered those of evil. And remember when you were few and were reckoned weak in the land, and were afraid that men might kidnap you, but He provided a safe place for you, strengthened you with His help, and provided you with good things so that you might be grateful. Al-Quran 8:26. The military activities between Badr and Uhud. The Battle of Badr was the first armed encounter between the Muslims and Quraysh. It was in fact a decisive battle that gained the Muslims a historic victory acknowledged by all the Arabs, and dealt a heavy blow to the religious and economic interests of the polytheists. There were also the Jews who also used to regard each Islamic victory as a heavy blow to their religio-economic entity.